I spent time in prison. We're discussing.
Mandela.
We're discussing.
Hey,
I'm on parole right now.
You and Umsholozi both got arrested for contempt of court.
Imagine.
Hey, clearly there's leadership
See,
potential.
that's why I needed to debate this with you, because I was like, you know what, I get where Msholozi is coming from. When you haven't spent time, you're not a bandit. Hey. Within prison, people ask me like all the time, hey, which gang did you join? What, all that type of stuff. So right in Sun City Prison, in the cell that I was in section C, medium section, so which is for sentenced prisoners. There's section E and D, which is awaiting trial, or people who've got further charges that they're also attending court for. Just to make it convenient, we'll fetch the people that are going in and out from this section and this section. You know what I mean? And those people don't stay there for long. You know what I mean? Some of them are sentenced for 3 months to a couple of days, whatever. So they are not part of the tenured prison community. You know what I mean? So whether the whole entire thing burns, they don't give a damn or whatever. The section that I was in is more tenured. I mean, the most tenured is A, because that's people who come from maximum. They started section A and then they moved down to B and C. You know what I mean? So in C, I also had people that I was familiar with. So that's where I preferred to stay, and I was able to lobby for myself prior to me actually starting to serve my sentence. Because if you're going to comply and you're going to submit yourself and everything else, they give you some leniencies, because it's like Oksara Uzala. You know what I mean? So, okay, what would make it more it's not comfortable. That is Monsters Inc. You know what I mean? You sleep with each and every single thing that keeps you awake at night. Each and every single thing that gives you nightmares at night, you sleep with. Do you understand what I'm saying? Serial killers give you nightmares at night. You sleep with them. Serial rapists. Mass murderers. You know, cockroaches, bed bugs, imbungolo, all that type of shit. You sleep with that at night. And you keep the cockroaches there because they eat the bed bugs. And if you get rid of the cockroaches, then you are overrun by other bugs, which are even less hospitable. You know what I mean? You're less likely to live with them. And in that situation, you are now in my cell. There was 70 of us, and there's 22 beds. Right? And I was lucky enough that one of the people actually organized the bed for me to sleep in, because usually it takes you maybe a year to graduate from sleeping in the toilet to actually getting a bed. Because, as you come in, you've got no bed, you've got nowhere to sleep, so you sleep in the toilet. Those that don't have beds, 22 beds for 70 guys. The top bunks are usually shared. I didn't share mine. You know what I mean? I was one of 3 top bunks that weren't shared, but the other top bunks are shared. You know? Either way, I got there and I found a system existing, because there are people that are there. There's people that are going to be there for another 10 years, whatever, another 15 years, and the thing that works is cooperation. As much as we all don't want to be here, as much as we the biggest, baddest baddies outside, when we're inside, we've got no weapons. You know what I mean? We're softies. Some of us come from maximum prison, like Khosimampur. Khosimampur is like where they learn the Bible. It gets beaten into them. So everyone that you encounter at Sun City that comes from Khosimampur after they've served 10 to 15 years, you have to serve 10 to 15 years within maximum before you get transferred to medium. You know what I mean? Once they've gotten Inkani out of you, they've extracted Inkani. The way they extract Inkani out of you is that in Khosimampur, you're all in single cells, very small single cells, no light, nothing, no window, nothing, in total darkness, total silence. The only way you're able to communicate is through the pipes of the toilet. You are shackled at your ankles the entire time, right? When you go shower in the morning, when they pull you out of your cell to go shower, they tase you before they put the handcuffs on you, right? Because unfortunately, Penwell, he's been here for 3 years. At some point, he's going to get frustrated and, you know what I mean? We're trying to take him to shower and then he strangles us. So the system is, before you get the handcuffs put on you, right, you get tased.
To pacify you.
You understand what I'm saying? Then they put you on your handcuffs, clean. You're going to be compliant, and then you get put into the shower, and you're able to shower with your handcuffs off. And then once you're done showering, again, Zzz. And then we handcuff you, and then you get taken back to your cell. Like, that's the type of environment that it's in. So you've got those types of people who've been to those type of places, people who've been underground so long where they haven't seen the sun that their eyes glow blue when they're telling you stories of how they murdered their wives or whatever the case may be. Real monsters, you know what I mean? Things that make your skin crawl, you know? And we have to cooperate with one another. Otherwise, even the biggest, baddest guy can get injured, you know, or something bad can happen to him. And that's the system that you create. So even with our different views, somehow we need to find a way to cooperate.
And be tolerant of each other.
You know what I mean? Doesn't matter which backgrounds we come from. And that's the thing that wins out in the end, is the cooperation.
We should be looking at black cooperation more than black unity, is what you're saying.
That's all I'm saying. Cooperation.
Should it be black cooperation or should it be cooperation just
On a
for the fact
national-
that we're South African?
That's it. I think it should be a nationality thing.
Okay. Anything you want to
As-
close with? I think that was my last
I
question.
think, like, you know, we were outnumbered as South Africans. And number. So there were 14 of us in our cell of 70. So that means 20% of us were South African. 80% were foreigners. Most of the foreigners are there because of deportation, passport laws, whatever. There's a guy who's like, hey, man, yeah. So I was like, yo, what are you going to do when you get back to Lesotho? I'm going to get a passport so I don't have to end up back here. I was like, oh, okay. So you're coming back?
I'm definitely coming back. I'm definitely coming back.
You're coming back to South Africa. You just don't want to end up in Sun City for it. You know what I mean? Okay, I can respect that. It's an honest answer. I mean, why lie to me? You know, I mean, it's not like we're outside. You know, so with that, gangs and gang culture, they don't have the numbers to create the sort of cooperation that it would want to. So a place like Sun City right now, I wouldn't be able to say like you've got gang culture and everything else, you know, numbers or whatever, because they just don't have the numbers for it. And the foreigners, even though they come from different nationalities, you know, they cooperate with one another so they can, you know, reduce the amount of influence that the numbers would have. You know what I mean? Of course, there are people who are numbers gangs who've been in the numbers gang for a number of years. They've been there for many, many years, right? But they're unable to foster this sort of cooperation to have power. You understand? Then there's also the prison warders. And the prison warders can make your life hell or they can make it easy. You know what I mean? So you have to cooperate with them. You know what I mean? It's like I had to get used to not kneeling on the ground after coming out. Because I just decided, you know what, let me just humble myself because I know that they know already the prison warden, hey, when I TikTok, hey, when I celebrate. You know what I mean? I was getting that from the moment I came in. You know, there's no one that didn't know me. There's no one that didn't know you.
Did that help?
At Sun City. Of course. But it also gave me problems. You know, this thing was snatched from me. I almost had a fight in prison. So, like, in the morning, siafola for food, for porridge, you know. They let us out at 8 a.m. usually. You know, sometimes they can let us out at 10. They just decide, hi, today's sober, keep on 10, just to break your routine, just to fuck with your mind. the game that the warders play with us, you know what I mean? So you just need to just calm yourself. You know what I mean? You can't have a road rage incident like, hey,
I've got rights.
out
Where are my rights?
yeah, just humble. You just, you know what? I must keep. That's fine. So lamba, so tea. You know what I mean? And you eat one meal a day, by the way. After that's porridge that you eat. And my favorite was maltabella. So I'd eat when there's maltabella. When there's no oats, I wouldn't eat breakfast. So there was oats being served that day. So I was like, you know what? Well, these guys are following. Let me just go get some sun, walk free. You know what I mean? Because Sun City, the only thing that made it manageable for me is that I'm used to the New York subway system, where it's lots of people, you know what I mean? So it felt like I was in the New York subway. You're going up and down, whatever. It's just like you're in the subway and it's filled with people, you know, crackheads, every single thing, whatever, meth addicts, whatever. And every single drug that you can get on the outside is there inside, you know. So it's not a rehab center.
Sure.
You understand? So if you think you're gonna, like I wanted at some point in time, send MT there and say, yeah, I know he needs to come down. Like after going to prison, I was like, yo, let me not ever wish for anyone to go here, because if they're already going through addiction problems, you know, I'm actually happy that Ulongwe was released on bail, because I was like, damn it. When I heard that he might be coming to Sun City, you know what I mean? I was like, hey, this guy won't survive here 72 hours. And even when he did go to Sun City, I'd already put in word where I could that, yo, please, this guy's coming in, please nimpe in, because he's got an addiction problem, which is why he was arrested. It's not that I was assuming on his behalf. And I don't know him personally, but it's just like, I've seen what can happen. You know what I mean? There's a guy that was even advised to take a broomstick, put it in his mouth and run into a war and kill himself, because his addiction is just destroying him. You know what I mean? He's an RFF beneficiary. He's won millions of rands in his case against the state for his road accident fund. And yeah, his brother had to take all of it and put him in prison, you know, because he was just losing his mind because of the drugs. So with that, you know, and that system, it's like, you can destroy yourself. You can self-destruct if you're not strong mentally, you know. I think that politically speaking, you know, the sentiments that I got, especially from a lot of the people in prison, there's two things that they hate. They hate foreigners and they hate white people. You know what I mean? So
these are black South Africans in jail.
Yeah. They don't like Julius Malema because he supports the foreigners, and that's in their minds. You know what I mean? That's their opinion. Or other prisoners. You know what I mean? It makes it more difficult. So this guy, while I'm busy trying to get some sun, comes up to me. Hey, when I wow post on TikTok. So there's like a Stan account of mine that posts on TikTok. So I don't know where he got access to a phone, right? So he saw posts that are posting on my, and he believed that this is a TikTok account. The thing is that when I went out there was a prison warder who was watching that square. You know what I mean? That courtyard where I was jogging in the morning. You know what I mean? That prison warder just decided to conveniently disappear. It's just see how this Baloyi guy survives. You know, if someone comes on and pulls up on him. But because of platforms like this and the fact that, you know, the guy who was able to get access to TikTok, everybody else has also had access to TikTok or videos or YouTube and everything else, and I'm a little bit popular. Some guy came out with his tooth breath in his mouth when this guy was grabbing this bag of mine and trying to start a fight with me. You know what I mean? And just in time before I had to retaliate, because you know when someone is starting a fight with you, they see, okay, are you gonna punch back? Are you gonna punch me? Are you gonna throw the first punch? And I'm trying not to throw the first punch because I'm thinking to myself, dude, I only have 60 days here. I don't want to get into a fight that's gonna get me in prison for 2 years. Like, you know what I mean? And that's why this guy is actually doing this, because he's trying to tempt me into something that's gonna
provoke.
Yeah, young provoker. And the guy ran to me and rescued me, and then other prisoners started coming. You know what I mean? So, you know, I just feel like we should never sleep on the influence of these platforms. And we should also never forget about our brothers in prison. I mean, when I'm with DJ Spoon in the Hustlers Corner, I always try to give shout outs. And, you know, I was just doing it. Mengas, actually. That niggas are watching. You know, no, for real. Like, I had no idea. And I was just saying, yo, our brothers back there, like, as in Kotwanga and everything else. And that stuck with them. They're like, yo, bro, you're always giving us shout outs. You know what I mean? And for people who've been treated as subhuman for a very long, you have no idea how endearing that can become. So, you know, with my compliance with the prison warders and allowing myself to be treated as subhuman for that long, they gained respect for me. You know what I mean? They're like, you know what, you came in here and you're able to humble yourself and bring yourself down to our level and comply. And that cooperation buys you a lot more favor than being the fighter is. And I guess to close out the argument, and I'm saying that for me, that approach that Zuma has is about cooperation.
There you have it, guys, from the man himself, NOTA Baloyi. I must say, it's very good to see which prison didn't do him any bad. The man is alive and well. Anyway, do subscribe and hit that notification button in order to get more content. It has been an episode of Tabloid Galore. Peace out.